Immanuel Kant was a Christian, a German, and a philosopher. He was born in 1724 and died in 1804. Kant said that he was awoken from his dogmatic slumbers by David Hume, who believed that we can know nothing until we see it happen or have experienced it. David Hume created the pun theory that basically says that we know nothing until we see it happen.
Kant disagreed and said no, the world does not impress itself on a passive mind, and we can obtain knowledge by thinking about it. Kant believed that not all things could be proved by reasoning, like most philosophers. He preserved his belief of God and eternal life, which cannot be proved or disproved.
Immanuel Kant wrote What is Enlightenment in 1784.
Kant's answer to the question is, enlightenment is man's release from his self-incurred tutelage.
Tutelage means to be taught or mentored or tutored.
The motto of this essay is have the courage to use your own reason or understanding.
This means stop letting the church, your parents, the king, friends, or physicians make decisions for you. As we know, there has always been a struggle in the amount of power that the church should be allowed to have and how much they should be able to think for the masses.
He goes on to say that it is cowardly to remain in tutelage, but it may be hard to break out because we are used to having guardians.
He describes these guardians as people who tell us what to think and decide what is right for us, to protect us like pastors.
Kant explains that in this way it binds us to tutelage, but you can free yourself if you are brave.
Kant says that many may be afraid of the dangers of making their own decisions.
In the essay, Kant says, the guardians then show them the danger which threatens if they try to go alone.
He uses a metaphor of falling, explaining that though you may fall a few times, you would eventually learn to walk on your own. In other words, learn to think on your own.
Another cause for people to stay under tutelage would be laziness. If you can get someone else to do the thinking for you, why think at all?
Kant describes the people as cattle, dumb and afraid without a guardian.
Immanuel Kant explained that to overcome any of this, we must have freedom. Freedom, the key ingredient to enlightenment. He says if only freedom is granted, enlightenment is almost sure to follow.
Kant stressed that freedom must be public and is quoted as saying, the freedom to make public use of one's reason at every point.
He points out that everywhere there is restrictions on freedom, from officers, pastors, or princes, all require that you do not argue and you must obey.
He quotes Frederick the Great of Prussia as saying, argue as much as you will and about what you will, but obey. He offers at least the freedom of speech.
Kant offers many new ideas in this essay, describing what freedom should look like.
Kant introduces the concept of freedom of speech and freedom of thought, giving power to the people.
Do not be afraid of speaking your mind and thinking for yourself. Giving this kind of initiative to the common people would have a large impact on society.
People able to argue with ruling powers would have had an impact on the government. Kant's ideas could be used to bring more equality among the people, pastors, and princes. All would be able to think for themselves.
Repercussions of such ideas may be that a country with all people thinking for themselves may be harder to govern.
Many of his ideas are common to the Western world today.
Critical thought is encouraged among people, especially students today.
To sum up, think for yourself.